As someone who's been living outside the UK for 8 years now, and as someone who began pursuing financial freedom and financial independence about 5 years ago, in this video I'm going to tell you all of the key lessons that I've learned whilst living abroad and whilst pursuing financial freedom. Let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name's Jonny. I'm originally from the UK, but I've been living and working in Spain for the past 5.5 years. On this channel, I talk a lot about life here, about the personal finance aspect, about how to move here, the property market here, along with sharing some of my journeys and travels around the world. Early July, sunny day today, so I thought I'd come outside and record this video. It's a bit hot, not as hot as it has been some other afternoons, but there's a little bit of a breeze right now, so it's making it manageable. Anyways, let me get right into these key lessons that I've learned. Number one is the value of having multiple income streams. Now, this is more of a obviously personal finance thing. It's something that a lot of people working towards financial independence use to accelerate their wealth building, but it's something that, you know, everyone in general, I believe, should have in their mind. And multiple income streams can mean many different things. It can mean having more than one employment. It can mean having a job and a side hustle. It can mean having a job and investment properties, or a job and a dividend portfolio that is providing for you. Whatever that looks like, the main goal should be that you don't rely on one source of income for your financial needs, that you can have it covered, or at least partially covered, with other potential revenue streams as well. It brings you a great peace of mind. On one hand, it serves as, you know, a backup plan. In the best of cases, you know, it can accelerate your wealth building. In other cases as well, you know, you might start a side hustle or a business, and it may even replace your main source of income. It may replace your regular job. It may be something that as well opens doors for you to be able to pursue opportunities abroad as a result of that. Because when you think about moving abroad, different visa opportunities, who can relocate? Typically it's the entrepreneurs or people who have their own sources of income, who have a greater freedom to be able to do that. So there's many advantages that come with having multiple income streams. The second lesson is that, you know, it doesn't just stop with making more money. You need to keep that extra money that you make as well. You hear stories of people who have maybe six-figure incomes but aren't able to build wealth because they spend everything they get. And on the flip side, you hear of people who have, you know, average incomes, who are able to save and invest a lot and are able to retire early because they plan their expenses accordingly and they prioritize saving and investing. This is obviously relevant in a general personal finance perspective for anybody, for that matter, that they should, you know, save, invest and build wealth over time. But it becomes even more important as you're living abroad. Thinking about people who perhaps move countries regularly. They move from one country to another. Let's say they spend 10 years in Spain, for example, then they spend, 10 years in the UAE, let's make something up, and then, you know, they bounce around a few other different countries. A lot of countries, particularly in the West, for you to be eligible for a state pension, you know, they'll require a minimum number of years that you've been contributing to social security in that country. So if you're constantly jumping around between countries, yes, you might be able to make more money as a result of that, but if you're not keeping your wealth, if you're not building your wealth, then you may get close to retirement age, and not only do you have no state pension to fall back on, you may have none of your own savings or own investments that can sustain you throughout what would be your retirement, and you may have to continue working longer than you had planned. Now, that's one way to look at things. Another important point when it comes to building wealth, particularly when you're living overseas, is that you may have access to investment opportunities that you wouldn't necessarily have access to in your home country. Perhaps you're in a country that has really attractive interest rates on bank deposits, or it's an emerging market that has a booming stock market that's coming up and is providing higher returns than the global stock market or your stock market back home. Maybe there's tax advantaged products in a country where you're living abroad that you're able to take advantage of because you're a tax or physical resident in that country. You know, these are things that can really accelerate, diversify your wealth building experience that you wouldn't have access to at home were it not for the fact that you're maybe living overseas. This is something that definitely encourages that if you're living abroad in a different country, find out what opportunities are available to you from an investment, from a banking perspective, from a tax advantage perspective as well, because they could be very different from your home country and they could accelerate your wealth building journey much faster than were you to be able to do so at home. You may also be benefiting from a low cost of living than you would have had at home if you live in abroad as well. So that can be something that if you're able to manage your lifestyle well and increase your earnings, maybe that's something that gives you a bigger shovel to be able to build wealth much faster as well. You're able to contribute more to your savings and investments than you would have been able to do if you were doing it at home. Third, let's talk about taxes. Now, this is something that I learned is very important as well to keep an eye on, is that taxes, influence the way that you're able to build wealth, for better or for worse. Now, some of us come from or live in countries where fiscal pressure or taxation is relatively high compared to other countries in the world where the fiscal pressure is not the same, or taxation is much lower, or the tax system is much more straightforward. And this is an opportunity in itself for those people who are perhaps willing to experience something new, try out something new, maybe live in a different place, set up their business there, for example. This can be a great opportunity to also build wealth faster. By legally reducing your tax burden, you keep more of your money, and again, you're able to save more, invest more, build wealth faster. At the same time, you don't even necessarily have to move countries to be able to take advantage of something like this. Even if you're in a country like the UK, like the US, there are products available that will allow you to save and invest money and have tax-free gains, like an ISA in the UK, for example, like a 401k or a Roth IRA when it comes to tax-deferred or tax-free products. These are legal mechanisms designed to encourage and incentivize investment in these countries. And if you're living in one of those countries, these are things that you can definitely take advantage of, put your money to work for you, and get higher returns because you don't have to pay the capital gains or the dividend tax that would be applicable were it outside of that tax shielded product. I mentioned that last point because, whilst taxation can influence how much of your money you keep, how much you're able to save and invest, for everyone, it's not the be all and end all. Not everybody is not necessarily able to relocate to a low tax country to take advantage of super low rates. So for those people who are unable to or not willing to, there are still opportunities and ways that you can lower your tax burden within your home country. This is definitely worth looking into, even if you're staying, in your home country, to help you understand how you can build wealth quicker. And the fourth thing I've learned is that sometimes moving abroad is the best thing you can do for yourself. It's the surest way to give yourself a different environment, a different cost of living, a different tax environment, a different business environment, a different way, perception, attitude towards life, and a different quality of life as well. I've talked about this in previous videos on the channel as well, specifically one where I talked about how living in Spain has benefited my life in ways that the UK couldn't. Like generally eating more healthy, having more energy, not feeling super stressed or in a rush all the time. These are good things that have come out of me moving to Spain. For other people, there's different things that they're looking for as well. Maybe they're looking for a more competitive business environment. Maybe they're looking for a faster pace of life. Maybe they're looking for a low cost of living. Maybe they're looking for a particular climate. Well, as I say, of course you can redesign your life and do things to improve your well-being, change your way of life back in your home country. But sometimes if you really want to get the most out of something, then you do have to take a bit of a leap of faith and move abroad. And I've said this in past videos as well, moving abroad is one of the best things I've done in my life for me. And if anybody ever gets the chance to do it, I would totally recommend it as well. So these are the key lessons that I've learned over the past 5 to 8 years or so, and from these lessons I've made decisions and I've taken action in my life in certain ways. I'm talking here about taking actions, making decisions, doing things that help me create the life that I want to live here, and working towards my own financial freedom. And if after hearing those 4 lessons you think it's time for you to make a change in your life, you're looking for something new but you're not exactly sure where to start, those of you who've watched the channel throughout this year will know that I announced plans for a course that I was going to launch around this time of year. I'm excited to say that my new course, Global Financial Freedom, is now available for purchase. And my Global Financial Freedom course turns those lessons into action points for you so that you can create new income streams, make money online, for example. It will help you understand different ways that you can optimize your wealth building journey through investing in stocks and assets overseas, opening different bank accounts and holding different currencies, for example. It will help you find ways to optimize your taxation, whether you're someone who is location independent, who is maybe able to move around a little bit, or whether you're someone who is staying in their home country but looking at ways to optimize taxation through investments at home. And finally, for those of you who are looking to relocate abroad, I've got multiple different country guides in this course, with Spain being one of them, which include the key information on what to expect when living in a country, as well as understanding the different visa routes available and taxation laws that are applicable. This is not just a theoretical course as well. At the end of each module, you'll have different practical resources such as calculators, planners, PDF documents, and more to help you turn the lessons and the theory from the different lessons in the course into practical actions for your own situation. Because from watching the course, I don't want you to just watch theoretical lessons and think about what your dream life looks like. I want you to really be able to plan it out bit by bit, right down to the details of how you're going to do it. And if you're watching this video within the first 7 days of its release, then there is a special one-time offer on right now that you don't want to miss, and that's that I'm offering this course for €59 only for lifetime access. And lifetime access means that once you've purchased access to that course, you will be able to access it and see the content forever, not just the content that's available today, but future content as well. Because I can tell you right now, there are more country guides that are going to be added. There are additional resources, and existing resources will be enhanced over time as well. Information will be modified and updated to reflect the current reality. There'll be bonus content added to the course as well, and so much more. As well as bonus content including interviews and discussions with tax, immigration, and legal experts as well. So if global financial freedom sounds like something you're interested in and you want to make it a reality for yourself, don't miss this one-time offer, and be sure to check out the link in the video description where you can enroll in the course. So with that, I hope you found this video interesting and informative. Guys, leave a comment and let me know if you've been living abroad or if you've started your financial freedom journey. What have been the biggest lessons that you've learned along the way? And if you like this video and you want to see more similar content, then be sure to check out these two videos here. So next time, I'll see you on the next one, and let's get this money.